All right, now I'm ready to roll.
Okay, cool. Hey, Thomas, it's great to meet you. Thank you for taking a minute out. And I'd love to begin our conversation with looking at the calendar now. 4 years ago, the pandemic began, and I'm wondering how you survived that time period and how it subsequently changed you.
Well, thank you for giving me the time to talk about mostly about Homeboy and a little about myself. Homeboy Industries, we're a nonprofit here in Los Angeles. Our mission is to help men and women when they leave the prison system, they leave gang life behind and leave a life of crime behind. So we're a nonprofit, been around for a long time. So I can vividly remember 4 years ago when the pandemic hit. It was March, and like everybody, every organization, every business across the United States, we closed down. It was shelter in place, stay at home, stay at home, and for us that was a big blow to our organization because in the life of our clients that we serve, we call them trainees. We're the safest spot they have. Now they leave their gang neighborhoods to come to Homeboy to change their life around, so that then when this order comes along and says, stay home, safer at home. Well, they don't have safe homes to stay in. And so it was an important and traumatic event for our folks. And so, look, we only stayed closed for 2.5 weeks. Luckily, in the city of Los Angeles, the mayor's office sort of put a provision in if you're a human services organization working with gang members, you're able to stay open. And so we stayed open, and God bless our team. We have committed folks who believe in the mission. They came in, opened up our doors, try to do everything safe, 6 feet distancing. But listen, we have 500 people in our building at any one time, and so we stayed open. And I think what's so interesting, if I want to say another thing about pandemic for Homeboy Industries, we're a nonprofit, right? But we thrive on people donating money to us, and so really this post-pandemic, it's been a tale of two stories. Society has been so generous in this post-pandemic world of donating money, and knowing now that people are so close to be on the margins of being homeless, being without food. And so all these past number of years, we've had great fundraising years because people see us as real practitioners of what we do, of helping people who are demonized in our society. But the other story is that it's been an awful 4 years for the clients we serve. The amount of violence on the streets has just skyrocketed. Gang violence, domestic violence, drug overdoses, domestic abuses. The numbers have just gone high. And so we've lost a lot of people, not through the COVID virus, but through just the sheer violence that are out in the streets. And it really shows that in this pandemic, there's a sense of hopelessness, which then causes bad behavior. So when people talk to me about, 4 years ago, pandemic started, what's that mean for you all? I got two minds. It's like, thankfully, America sees the need to sort of help out people on the margins of our society. The other side is it's been a hard run for folks in society who live, for our population.
So if you were to go into a third grade classroom at career day and one of the kids was curious as to what you do on a daily basis and wanted to get to the crux of running Homeboy, and they ask you, what do you do for a living? How would you answer that child?
Yeah, we help people, and I'm not sure about third grade, maybe eighth grade, be a little different. But if for eighth grade, may understand that people commit crimes, and when they commit crimes, there's a punishment associated with that. And so when people are finished with their punishment, what we do is help people after they're done serving their sentence, and they want to change their life, and they don't want to. We're not going to judge them for the worst thing they've done. We're going to help them move their life forward. So we invest with them, we care for them, and what makes us successful is that we simply love them and trust them, and that helps people change their life forward.
When you were in the third grade, what was your dream? When you were sitting in that chair dreaming about the future, what was it?
I think I want to be an astronaut.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So how did you get to this point? This takes a lot. And I know I used to work at a YMCA. I was in the nonprofit world for a while, and there was a lot of champions out there that are trying to help people. And there's a lot of altruism and empathy that goes into a position that you have. How did this begin for you in childhood? How did these seeds take hold and grow into you today?
Yeah, so I grew up on the East Coast in New Jersey. My father, first generation American, so I'm second generation American. We lived a lower middle class lifestyle. but my mom and dad loved us, and they taught us to sort of help out others as much as we can. We go to church every week. Whatever allowance I had, half my allowance had to go into the church, and so donate along the way. And so it was all about kind of work hard, do well, be successful. And so fast forward through that, I take those values and go to college and graduate school and to corporate America. And, then I had a 26-year career, very, I think, successful. I ran a $2 billion set of businesses, hit every mark you could ever achieve. And you can really, in my mind, you can only do those corporate jobs for so long. I wanted to do something different. I love business. I'm a committed capitalist. I think well-run companies are good for our society, but there's always that rub right now, where is a shareholder comes first or is employees come first, right? And so when the rub hits, shareholders always win out. And I thought there's got to be a better way to run businesses without the shareholder dominating the thought process of every leadership decision that gets made. And so while at my corporate job, Aramark, we were always encouraged to be involved locally. And so I was on the board of Salvation Army of Los Angeles. And a fellow board member is a friend of mine. And when he saw that I left my corporate job looking for some new chapter in my career, he invited me down to the Homegirl Cafe. And I'm sitting down there in the Homegirl Cafe, and I'm looking around, and I'm seeing that, wow, these folks who are working hard. They're engaging with the customer. They're smiling. They seem to be enjoying their job. And I'm also realizing I would have never hired any of them back in my for-profit job, because they had tattoos on their face, they had felonies, and had been part of a gang. And so it challenged my notion right there that, well, if I'm such a big advocate of capitalism and well-run companies are good for our society, why have I missed out on this portion of the population? And so when my friend asked me to get involved, I sort of said, sure, let me see how I can help out. I had done enough board work. I wanted to see if I can sort of actually roll up my sleeves and use my business skills in different ways. So I started as a volunteer and knew nothing about this population at all. But I thought, let me see if I can help out. They were going through a little bit of a financial crunch. They asked me to come on board as CEO. I didn't think I was going to work again, let alone what did I know about a nonprofit. But to be in the orbit of people looking to change their life after having been so demonized and having such trauma is pretty special. And so I signed on and said yes. I had all the hubris of a corporate CEO, thought I would get, yeah, I'll fix them up in 6 months. In a year, I'll sort of go off and do something different. Here I am 11 years later and just still loving being part of this community.
So is this, when you take a look at your corporate job versus what you've done for the last 11 years, what's the level of satisfaction? Does this exceed what you had been doing in your career prior? How do you compare them?
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, look, I feel great to have had two chapters of my career. I'm proud of the corporate job, the people I worked with, and the things we accomplished. And look, and so, but you told me the rules of the road, and I was successful in that, and we won as a team and did well as a team. But this role is sort of different. I feel so fortunate that I've been able to sort of be in this community of people who are looking to change their life in a very positive way. And additionally, it has helped me along my faith journey and my understanding of people on the margins of our society, how they have deep faith, deep spirituality. That's helped me get my spirituality much more mature in how I view it. And so it's intellectually, it is as hard. This job is as hard as was running a $2 billion business in the public arena. This is as hard because we're doing it with a lot less resources here in this small nonprofit. So intellectually, it's very challenging, but emotionally, and what it gives is being part of somebody's life and someone's transformation is so special, and it's a grace that I gladly accept.
So you obviously inspire people in your role. Who's been that inspiration for you in your life? Who's been a hero for you?
I've had mentors for sure all throughout my life, but I have to say our founder here at Homeboy Industries, Father Greg Boyle, a Jesuit priest, founded Homeboy Industries 35 years ago. His first stop as a parish priest was at Dolores Mission, the poorest parish in the whole Archdiocese of Los Angeles, epicenter of gang violence. Los Angeles happens to be the gang capital of the country, thereby the world, still is, was very much back then. And so he started Homeboy to help get these young men out of gang life. And so, he's been our founder. So he was the one who asked me to come on as CEO. But listen, he's a living saint. He is so authentic and so caring and helping out the homies, ministering to the homies, going the extra mile no matter what. And and it's through his leadership and through his example and seeing it at Homeboy that where I really now believe in this notion that God is too busy loving us to be judging us.
Yeah.
Because all my life I was like, it's saying, you get judged in the corporate world, you sort of measure up and find your worth by who's on top of the pile, right? Yeah, no, but we see that now. It's not about judging. It's just
Yeah.
about loving people.
Yeah, for sure. So, what is the drive every day for you to wake up, to do your job, to help others, but to also evolve and take care of yourself as a human?
Yeah. I've thought a lot about this, and this is where homeboys help a great deal. It's like, uh, being part of somebody's life, how you can contribute to their transformation is special, but it's easy to move into this hero complex, like I'm saving somebody else, right? And so I just feel fortunate that I have a set of skills that this organization needed at a time when it was for me to come in, and we've done well along the way. But what drives me is my faith, and that my understanding of my spirituality is not just to believe in the concept of God and that we should love other peoples, but the action needs to be associated with that. And how do you get into that uncomfortable spot of moving yourself to the margins, being of somebody you don't really know, but just being in kinship and relationship with them really helps them. And so what drives me is the combination of my faith, knowing that you need to put that into action.
So, what's been one of your favorite success stories being a part of Homeboy?
Oh my gosh, there's so many success stories of our people. It's as simple as look, our folks. How do I explain? Our folks have just they're second, third generation gang members. They've been jumped in a gang at a young age. They're victims of complex trauma. Their mother told them not to go to school, stand on the corner, be the lookout for a drug deal. So our folks join a gang thinking that's going to be their family. It's a false hope. Go to prison, come out, and they're tired of it. They just want to live a normal life. And so, definition of success or a good story is people who just live a normal life. I mean, just to see the joy in people's face when they come up to me and show me the picture that they were at their sixth graders Halloween parade. They never have done that before. For
Yeah,
the first time they had Christmas with their mother who abused them along the way, but they reconciled uh,
yeah,
along the way. And so and now if I take this me as a hard charging business guy and also apply that lens to it is there's dignity to all types of work that
yeah,
they love. And we run social enterprise businesses, a bakery, a cafe, that type of thing. When they proudly show me how many cookies they made that day, it's an honest day's wage.
yeah,
Those are it's the small joys that really make it.
yeah. So let me ask you this. If you had a dream tonight, you ran into the 18-year-old version, senior in high school version of you, and you could give that young version of you a piece of advice based on the life you've lived, the wisdom you've gained, what advice would you impart on that young version of you?
Yeah, well, part of it is sort of smell the roses as you go along life, right? Um, uh, uh, the other part is to understand this notion, go understand this notion of there are people who are suffering in our society, and that uh, you can help out no matter if you don't have any skills, you can help out. You can help out just by being in a relationship with somebody. It's not like I always thought like I had to be able to be a mental health expert or a doctor or something like that to help people. No, you can just help people just as by being yourself and forming a relationship.
Yeah. So of all of the things that you've done and evolved into in your life, what are you the proudest of?
I'm trying to move into this territory of not being proud.
Yeah,
But it's hard.
I get it. I
It's hard.
understand.
It's hard along the way, right? Look, I got a great wife and two. I've loved my sons. They're successful and they've done well. But it's also the work I do, and I guess it's about mutual respect, me and the team here, and how we have grown together. And that is, it's been I've lived a charmed life for sure. And I cannot, my life, even the little problems I've had, is not compared to the struggles that they've had. But we're able to find a common bond
Yeah.
and have a relationship.
So everyone has a perception of you, all these lights based on your corporate life, your life now with Homeboy, family, friends, everybody. But you run the show. What's your perception of you? Who do you think you are?
Yeah, it's interesting you say that because I'll echo your question in a different way. So it's, I come into Homeboy, I come in as the CEO, have been a $2 billion CEO, right? $2 billion company with 20,000 employees, that type of thing. And here I show up at Homeboy and but we're a very diverse culture, you can imagine. So I'm that's not just a CEO, I'm a corporate guy and the white guy, right? So there's a lot of sort of perceptions of me from that perspective. And then when I talk to my corporate friends and they see me as running a nonprofit organization, now they got me as a perception of, well, you're one of those goody two shoes who do things, right?
Yeah,
Uh, and so to your question, it's like I've had great coaches and mentors. It's like just be comfortable in your own skin and who you are, and just know your values and work towards, quietly put your head down and work to help out in any situation. Um, so it's not so much sort of the exterior that defines you, it's sort of the type of work you do.
yeah.
And that's what I stay focused on.
So if there's anyone out there riding the line of wanting to volunteer and they're interested in the mission that Homeboy is, how would you convince them to go ahead and cross that line and to help and to be a part of what you're doing?
Yeah, for sure. I want to say two ways, right? I mean, certainly Homeboy needs help. We're a nonprofit that's privately funded. We get very little money from the government. So come to Homeboy's Facebook and website and along the way. And I've written a book called The Homeboy Way that kind of talks about my two lives of being a corporate guy and now, being in an organization, leading organization that's about helping gang members leave gang life behind. But I want to encourage everybody that listen, I think people are good by nature, right? And look, I worked in the business world. There are a lot of people who want to help out nonprofits along the way, and there are a lot of people who want to help out the local community, right? And I want to encourage people. You can do it, right? Every nonprofit needs somebody with a business skill set, whether it's let's call it accounting, marketing, any job in a business. Every nonprofit needs someone with that skill set to volunteer hours, right? And the other thing is, not everybody needs to be like a frontline worker who sort of is able to engage somebody in trauma. But all these organizations need people who sort of just want to sit and have relationships with people, not judging people, but just having a relationship with people. And all of us can do that. So make money, donate money, volunteer your time, and look for a second chapter in your career where you've done it. Like I've done is like, okay, now I can put more time into a full-time effort of helping people. There's lots of organizations that need that help.
So if anybody wants to get your book, learn more about you, reach out, learn more about Homeboy, all of the good business, where do they go?
Yeah, well, the book, it's called The Homeboy Way. It's on Amazon and other places that sell online. For Homeboy itself, Homeboy Industries .org. Go to our website, our Facebook following. In our Facebook following, every morning we have this really terrific thought. We have this terrific morning meeting startup. Everybody gathers the space, 100 people, do announcements, and then we do a shared thought of the day each day. And so we try to post that up there. And it's an affirmation, and it's people talking about their life and how they're moving their life forward. It's really a great way to start the day. We post that all the time as well.
I love it. Thomas, thank you so much. I have a great deal of admiration for what you're doing. It's so essential, so necessary. Thank you for sharing your story and time today.
Appreciate you having me.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Take care.
Thank you.